Hello everyone, today I'm going to be taking a look at the new faction for Parabellum's Conquest, the last argument of kings, the Yoroni, and I'm going to be starting it off with the Daimyo. Okay then, the Yoroni Daimyo, which also makes a Oyabun, possibly not how any of that is pronounced. It is a single plastic miniature with base and 4 ideal cards, which are unique to the Yoroni faction. So we'll pop out what we have in here, of which there's a lot. We have our sprues, we have our base, circular and square, so First Blood or the Last Argument of Kings. We have our ideal cards. So Fu, Chi, Ka, and Shui. Not going to get into that conversation any further with my inability to pronounce Japanese style words. Little A5 sheet on how to prepare the miniature. 1, 2, 3 sprues. And build instructions are relatively quick. So torso, legs is the same for both. And then depending whether you want to do your Daimyo or your Oyabun, you're just changing head and arms. So should be relatively straightforward. Looking at the sprues themselves, our first one contains the majority of the body is on the center. And then we have the Oyabun on this side, your Daimyo on this one. Everything is numbered to make life easier when you come to find the actual pieces. And overall, it looks like the sprue gates are relatively small and not in a particularly egregious place. Sometimes you can get sprue gates that are a bit chunky or in a difficult to reach part of the sprue. So I shall get this built and then we'll take a look at the miniature and talk about it in game terms. Okay, our Daimyo is built. He is approximately 54mm to eyes level, where that eye would be on that visor, and roughly 70mm to the top of his very nice hat. Build was incredibly easy. The 3-piece head was probably the most complex piece to build, and because it's all keyed, it goes together very nicely. Lovely level of detail on here, so you're not having to try and hand paint all the designs in there. And then has this feathered, could be peacock feathered, scabbard, giving him that real sort of authoritative, expensive look to him. I will say when you're building this, I put both arms on first, and then you can see the blade there. I turned the blade 90 degrees so it was flat, so I could slide it up under this front armoured plate, just to locate the 2 hands then. So it was just a case of putting the glue on and then rotating it back and sliding it into position. I thought that would be easier than trying to glue the hands on and then get the arms into place. So there's a small amount of room between these pieces to get that together. As far as your Daimyo goes, in battlefield terms, he's a bit of a bruiser, clash of 4, so most of his attacks will hit. He has 6 of those and 7 wounds. So a good beating commander. That's sort of part and parcel of the Yoroni forces, is that they are brutal and therefore very easy for players to sort of pick up if they're just getting stuck in for the first time, the fact they are all fairly destructive and a low model count. He has powerful presence, which means he counts as 3 stands rather than his single stand when it comes to claiming objectives, so that's very good. And he also has Lord of the Roaring Flames. Now, when he's being activated with an ideal card, if he's activated with the Ka, he can get a Glorious Charge special rule, which gives him +1 to his clash. So that clash of 4 goes up to 5s, so he's pretty much hitting all the time. And he also gains Terrifying 1, so reducing the resolve of his opponent, which means he has a good chance of doing a boatload of wounds and then a subsequent additional amount simply from field resolve rules. The nice thing about the Glorious Charge, though, is that after he's activated it, all friendly regiments that activate with a Ka ideal card benefit from that Glorious Charge as well, regardless of their battlefield rule. So, yes, that could be quite devastating, especially if you happen to lean into the Ka side of things in your list building. The ideal cards are very interesting, simply because of the way they work. It means you can really mix and match, and even picking up a couple of units, how you deploy them on the battlefield between games can change. So in one occasion, you may have a unit that's led by a Ka leader, counts as a Ka regiment to get that bonus. And then the next time you simply swap 2 models around with another unit, and all of a sudden you've got a different battlefield benefit coming from those ideals. Now, he could have been built in a different way. With the addition of the massive mace and the head, he'd become an Oyabun, who is similar. His clash is a bit lower, and he activates on a Chi ideal card. However, that Chi ideal gives him the Lord of the Eternal Mountain, which gives hardened +1, so much more defensive a character, preventing people from cleaving through in that regards. And obviously that would be passed across to other Chi regiments on the battlefield. And it also has Quicksilver Strike, so if he's getting involved in a duel, then he attacks first, unless his opponent also has that. So they have very interesting combinations of abilities. This is out and out a devastating combat character. Big cleave, impact hits, the Glorious Charge, all of that means he will be absolutely brutal. The Oyabun has the ability to flank, has a more defensive role, has less cleave, but more impact hits. So, you know, it's a different way of playing them. But, yeah, the plastics are really nice, and it's nice to see a very different way of constructing a force for Conquest now. So there we go, folks. A gorgeous model. They really are going on leaps and bounds with every iteration and new range released, and the Yoroni are no exception. He's an absolute brute. Literally, he's a brute. The whole faction are brutes, in fact. And the fact that he has that Glorious Charge ability to bestow upon the regiments he leads is particularly handy, especially because you can customize those units so massively with the modular format. So yeah, terrific model, interesting set of stats with him as well, and a really unique way of playing this faction in particular for the Last Argument of Kings. But let me know what you think below. Until next time, bye-bye.
Go ahead and check out our other content on screen now. And while you're at it, why not hit subscribe and remember to ding our dong. Go on, you know you want to click it. Go on.